welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting another fall themed reading vlog. It has been about a month since my last one. It might even be longer by the time this video is done and posted. But unfortunately, I've spent most of October sick or busy or traveling and have just not been reading at all, which I talked about in my wrap up last week. And I was feeling really down about not getting to all of the fall books that I was so excited to get to. But this week I was like, you know what? October's not over yet. November's not over yet. So fall is not over and it's not too late to still get to some of the books that I was really excited to get to. This will be a little bit different than my last fall reading vlog. Obviously my setting is different because in my last fall reading vlog I was exploring kind of early fall in Sweden and Washington DC. And this fall reading vlog I am actually in Copenhagen. So I'm going to be taking you around to do some fall activities in Copenhagen. The weather has changed dramatically. We have dropped 10 degrees Celsius since the last fall vlog. So it is sweater season, it's coat season. It's gonna be really great. So I'm really excited to show you a little bit of what you can do during the incredibly rainy fall season we are currently having in Copenhagen. And in the meantime, of course, we also have some books to talk about. The first book I'll mention a little bit in this video, but this isn't actually a reading vlog for this book. I'm currently reading Rebecca by Daphne de Maurier. I'm actually buddy reading Rebecca with my favorite friend on booktube, Xenia, over at Xenia in the Books. So I haven't been doing it for a reading vlog, I've just kind of been doing it in between my sickness and everything this whole month. But I did want to mention it on this vlog, and I've talked about this so much with Xenia, that I'm loving Rebecca. I'm really enjoying it. So if I can finish it during this vlog, then I will absolutely tell you my final thoughts. This is a gothic classic that just feels so fall in terms of I'm what's gonna happen, the mystery elements, the spookiness, but also because it kind of leans into this weird circumstance, old building archetype of dark academia in kind of an interesting way, except for without the academia. So I'm enjoying it and hopefully I will finish it during this video. I also thought this was the perfect time to start this video because my hold on a new book just came in from the library and I'm really excited to get to it. My hold on Mate by Ali Hazelwood came in from the library. This is fall themed because it's about werewolves and vampires, okay? This is Ali Hazelwood's sequel to her book Bride. Bride I really loved because it involved two super sarcastic main characters in an arranged marriage with each other. And I really enjoyed that. I know it's about some of the characters from the first book, but if we're being honest, I don't remember a lot about the first book. I just know that Mate is about a half werewolf, Serena, who is the mate for the leader of one of these werewolf clans, the alpha of that clan. And I'm just looking for a good, fun fall time with this, kind of as a good balance for Rebecca, which definitely has different atmospheres going on, so I'm really excited for that. I'm also hoping to this week get to a graphic novel called Fangs that I've seen recommended by several booktube channels. This should go pretty quickly, and I do think this is another kind of sweet romance between a werewolf and a vampire. So another nice palate cleanser that I'm excited for. But the book I'm most excited to get to this reading vlog is absolutely Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I read Ninth House last Halloween. I was kind of hoping to reread Ninth House this month before getting to Hellbent. Haven't gotten around to it, been really sick, but this will probably be the finale of the video that we'll get to maybe later this week, next week type vibe. Starting off, before my hold expires on Mate, I'm going to start with that while reading Rebecca. And like I said, it's been kind of rainy fall days, so I can't really take you a lot outside to the beautiful fall colors, but we usually get a couple of hours of sunshine a day, so hopefully we have a little bit of that, and we can go for some fall walks as well. In Denmark, there isn't a ton of Halloween decor, but they're trying to kind of make Halloween a thing. And at the amusement park that's really famous in Copenhagen, Tivoli, they have their Halloween decorations up right now, so I'm definitely gonna stop by there this week sometime. So I'm really excited to take you along with me for the reading and fall journey. fall activities. It's upsetting to me that it's this dark and it's 5 p.m. The worst part about fall is now half my day is in the dark. Hi, we're back in this corner. I think this might be the only place in the apartment that gets sunlight, but at the same time it's been so cloudy and rainy that the sunlight we are getting is so minimal, so all these clips might be so questionable. Sorry for that. We're doing the best we can with fall weather in Denmark. But I just wanted to briefly talk about Mate because I'm actually going through it a lot faster than I thought I would. You know, reading slump might be cured by filming myself. I feel like as long as I motivate myself by being like, I have a vlog that I gotta do, then it makes me read much more than I usually do. So Mate, Ali Hazelwood. I'm a little bit over the 50% mark right now. I'm kind of struggling with this, similar to the way I struggled with Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, in that I like her writing style, I like her banter, I think the characters are funny. I do enjoy a romantic dynamic between two very sarcastic characters. But unfortunately, Mate is also not working for me, and I'm really struggling to figure out why, because the world is the same as in Bride, and the physiology and like the smut vibes are very similar to In Bride and very similar to like a lot of fan fiction I've also read in my time. I was reading this while out and I had a sudden epiphany that I'm like, this feels like I'm reading a werewolf fan fiction, like alternate universe of the same vibe as a like blue collar wife TikTok. Have any of you guys ever been on like blue collar wife TikTok where it's like, I woke up at 4 a.m. to make lunch for my husband. He works all day, his hands look like this, so my hands can look like this. He got home at 8 p.m. and he still rubs my feet because he loves me. It's cute, but it's also like not, for me, it's like just not my niche of the internet. This book feels just like that. Like the relationship dynamic between the two main characters seems to like largely revolve around the fact that he's like the alpha and everyone else bows down to him. And he tells me what to do and I like it, but secretly because he's in love with me, then I hold all the cards, even though like she doesn't really, and I don't really like that dynamic. I like a dynamic between two characters who are equally empowered and powerful in their own ways. And I felt like Bride did that really well in like a really like interesting subverting the dynamic kind of way. The thing I do like about Mate so far is that a major plot point of the story is that Serena, the main character, she's kind of fled to the territory of Cohen, her love interest, because she has this like uncurable disease. And there have been some like really honestly moving passages about her writing letters to her loved ones and like how much she feels like she hasn't been able to live her life in like a really emotional and touching way about a character struggling with a chronic, incurable disease. And like right now there's kind of like a time limit set on that disease, but I know that this is a romance book and I know it's probably gonna have a happy ending. And I'm just not really looking forward to whatever they're gonna come up with for like, they're like, oh, this is incurable, and then they're gonna magically find the cure, or it's gonna be like a misdiagnosis somehow. And I feel like it would cheapen like the good parts of this book, which are these like emotional conversations about the nature of living and all of this stuff. That's Made so far. The rain is just gonna continue this week. It doesn't look like we're gonna get any breaks whatsoever from the rain, but it is like a fall cozy weather, I guess, so I'll try to take you out and show you what it's like to be out in the rain a little bit. What other activities do I have planned? I went to the National Museum yesterday, enjoyed that. It was really gorgeous. We're hoping to go to some other museums this week. I also live somewhat close to the zoo here, so if we do get a day where it's just gonna be cloudy and not rainy, then we might do a zoo day, which would be really, really fun. I'm excited for that. There are activities to be had, even in the rain, probably. But luckily, because of the rain, I also do have a ton of time just to sit at home and read my books before the end of October. But I'm gonna finish up Mate probably today or tomorrow, and then we'll be able to move on to Fangs and Hellbent. Hi, we're back in the corner for another reading update because I have finished Mate, and to settle in for a little cozy afternoon of reading, I have tea brewing. I also made myself an iced chai because you need 2 cups of chai, heated and cold, obviously. And I also have my onsdagssnegl with me. So I'm fully prepared to cozy up for the afternoon, but I did want to talk about Mate first because I finished it this morning at the gym. So I don't have any footage of me finishing it, but I did finish it. What do I have to say about Mate? I think it's fairly middle of the pack for me, unfortunately. And we could always blame the reading slump. I don't mind blaming a reading slump because obviously Bride worked really well for me, but I will say that after finishing Mate this morning, I did pull up Bride on my Kindle and like started rereading it. And I really enjoyed it so much more. So I think it's possible that there's just a difference there that like I liked Bride a lot more than Mate. What can you do? I'm really curious if anyone else feels that way because I feel like most of the people I've seen reading Mate who enjoyed Bride have also enjoyed Mate, and for some reason it just like wasn't clicking with me. I might have been like kind of mean in the first update, I don't know, but I think it's pretty obvious in the second half for me as we kept on going and like we learn more about these characters and like why they're attracted to each other and their own pasts and histories and why the main love interest character acts the way he does. It became pretty obvious to me that like I just didn't like him. Cohen, the male love interest, the alpha werewolf that Serena, our main character, falls in love with, is like the opposite of every type I have. And I should have guessed this from the beginning because even in like the early chapters, Serena talks about how, oh, every guy I've ever liked has been like the nice, sweet, amenable type, and it's never worked for me. And Cohen is so like dominating and like gets his way and all that stuff. And I was like, I like sweet and amenable people. That's like my type is sweet and amenable. So it should have been pretty obvious from the beginning that like where we were going with the romance dynamic wouldn't be my cup of tea. That's fine. But in general, also the story bits that I liked just resolved super weirdly in the second half. The circumstances of her like illness obviously get resolved because it's a romance book. And the way they're resolved just felt so, I feel like, I don't know, childish compared to like the chapters we got about her grappling with this illness and grappling with her life potentially coming to an end and how that affected her. And then we just spin it around into like smut really, really fast in a way that I was like, okay, I guess. I mean, and it almost felt like the author, because she went with the tropes that she went with in this book, couldn't write as much smut as she wanted to in the first half, which means the second half just had to be like Pound Town the whole time. And then also the way that the plot of the story resolves with like all of these reveals about who Serena is, her identity before the start of this series, the mysteries that were set up in book 1 getting solved, like how does she exist, where did she come from, all of that. It felt again like it was resolved very quickly, and then there was no like true emotional resolution for what she went through. We just immediately went back to the romance. And the romance did have a solid resolution. It's just that because I didn't care about Cohen, because I didn't really care about the relationship, I was so much more heavily invested in her relationship with Misery from the first book, Serena and Misery's friendship, and I was more heavily invested in like her own trauma and processing that. And I feel like we just did not get enough. It's like at the end, she's like, yeah, now we get to live a quiet life, and I suppose maybe I'll get a therapist, haha. And it's just like, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted from Serena's story, is what I'll say. But yeah, that is Mate. I'm not like disappointed I read it because we did get more of Misery in this book and more of Misery and Serena's friendship, which is so sweet, and I really did love them. So I'm not annoyed that I read it or anything like that. It's just solidly middle of the pack. But with that, the sun is setting. I don't know how much sunset vibes we're getting on my face right now because the sun decided to just peek out behind the clouds. But the sun is setting, it's a super cozy atmosphere, I think, to spend my evening now reading Fangs. I'm assuming it's gonna go relatively quickly. It's less than 100 pages. There's very little text per page as I'm flipping through. It's not like some graphic novels where there is still a lot of reading involved. I'm assuming this will go really fast, and I low-key think this will complement finishing Mate so perfectly because, like I said, I went back and started rereading the beginning of Bride, which is a vampire werewolf romance. This is a vampire werewolf romance, so this might be just what I needed to bring back the vibes that I had when I enjoyed Bride so much. But then hopefully, if the sun is still out, I'll give my update on Fangs. The back of the book literally just says a love story between a vampire and a werewolf. It's mostly just like sweet and cute, and I really like the art style, so I'm really excited to get to Fangs. I think my tea is finished brewing though, So I'm gonna get my tea and then I'm gonna cozy up and eat my food and read Fangs with you. This is so adorable and just what I need. Like every single page is like a little moment in their life, like a little punchline basically. Like they're all little jokes about vampires and werewolves dating. They're just so good. It's so cold outside, so we won't stay long, but I want to enjoy the sunset because we only have a couple more minutes left. Oh god, the sun is like halfway behind a building, so we only have like seconds left of like actual outdoor lighting. But I just wanted to talk about Fangs because I finished it and it took me like 20 minutes and it's so cute. I think it fits the vibe of bride and mate perfectly, of these like super sarcastic werewolf vampire characters. And I didn't realize how refreshing it would be because not only have I been reading Mate by Ali Hazelwood, I've also been rewatching Vampire Diaries with my sister for Halloween. I didn't realize how refreshing it would be to read like the good old-fashioned takes on vampirism and werewolfism. Like he just straight up turns into a wolf once a month and the rest of the time he has like some werewolfy traits. And she can't go into the sunlight at all. She sleeps in a coffin. She's goth. She says that she worships Satan. It's just cute and fun, and now the sun is gone. So sorry for the darkness for the rest of this clip. But yeah, I thought it was really, really cute. It fit the vibe perfectly. I'm definitely gonna be rereading this because I love art styles like this. And also it's more like comic strips. There's not like a cohesive story, but it does follow linearly from the main characters, Elsie and Jimmy, the vampire and the werewolf, meeting at a bar to them moving in together. In that time frame, we see like little glimpses of their relationship through comic strip type storytelling with a punchline at the end that I just thought was fun and cute and like a good Halloween humor time. So I really, really like this. I definitely recommend it. But with that, we can finally move on to Hellbent. And just in the nick of time, because we are in the last 2 or 3 days of October. It's almost 500 pages, Hellbent, so we'll see how many days it takes me to read this. You just think about it this way, the longer it takes me to read it, the more time for activities that I can put in the vlog. Exactly. But yeah, if you don't know Hellbent and Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, this series, the Alex Stern duology that's now becoming a trilogy, I think, is about a main character, Alex Stern, who gets kind of like a full scholarship situation to Yale because she's like singularly very magically powerful, but because of that she's very much an outsider in the magic circles part of Yale. Yeah, there's like a magic under society, because of course there is. In the vein of dark academia, Ninth House goes into a lot of criticism of the unjust system that Yale has set up, both in their magic school but also in the school more generally. And at the end of Ninth House, we're kind of left on a cliffhanger of something happening to one of the main characters. Lots of things I'm unsure about, but I am really, really excited to finally get to this because it's been a year since I read Ninth House and I loved it at the time and I have been itching to continue the series. I don't know if I'm gonna read now because it's getting dark, so I might go make dinner and stuff like that. I still need to drink the rest of my iced chai here as well. Thank you so much for following along. This is kind of a weird vlog for me just because I'm not going outside as much as I used to, which is making me kind of sad. I'm like transitioning into fall in kind of a weird way where I want to be outside as much as I was in the summer, but every time I do, I feel like the remnants of COVID sickness coming back into me, and I'm like, no, I need to be inside, I need to be warm. So lots of cozy indoor reading that I hope you don't mind. But with that, let's get started. The only place in Denmark to do Halloween is tivoli. Yeah. Hello. It has been more than a few days. It's been more like a week. But it's time to give a big reading update because I have plenty of things to update on. We are in a new location because I realized that filming in my living room was unbearably echoey. So we're going to test to see if the audio quality in this room is a little bit better. It's kind of a weird angle, but you'll just have to bear with me. Basically, what's taken me so long to give you an update is that I started Hellbent, read the first couple chapters, was like, okay, this is interesting, tried to keep going. I didn't remember anything that happened in Ninth House. I think you can read Hellbent even if it's been a while since you read Ninth House, but I realized I wasn't enjoying it to its fullest extent because I was spending so much energy trying to remember what happened in Ninth House. So I did a thing, and I decided to pick up my copy of Ninth House anyways and reread the whole thing, all 500 pages in the last week. Honestly, this might be the thing that broke my reading slump because I was sucked back into the story, and I'm gonna be honest, rereading this, I did not remember so much of what happens in this book. So I'm so glad that I did reread Ninth House ahead of Hellbent, and wouldn't you know it, with the delay, actually we made it in time for the title for the third book in Alex Stern to be announced, which is going to be called Deadbeat, which I'm very excited for, and it's coming out next September. So great timing on my part. I keep on rereading things right when we get new announcements about them. And I really, really did enjoy Ninth House and the reminder of what the story is about. It's set on Yale. We follow dual POVs for the majority of the first book between two characters, Alex Stern and Daniel Arlington, who come from very different backgrounds, but they are both part of this magical monitoring organization on Yale's campus called Leigh. Leigh has to go to all of these magical houses, secret societies on Yale's campus, and keep track that they are following the rules and not using their magic unlawfully. Like, they're there to make sure that the rules are followed. And Arlington is a senior who's passing on his role as Dante. They call him like Dante and Virgil. So he is Alex's guide through the magic systems of Yale, and Alex is the new Dante. Yeah. And in their respective two timelines are taking place in two different periods of the same year. This first year of Alex's freshman year, we start in the fall through Arlington's perspective, leading up to an event that happens to him that we're told about in the beginning of the book, and then simultaneously also seeing Alex's perspective in the winter as she tries to investigate what happened to Arlington. Again, not a spoiler, it's what's told to us in the beginning of the book, and it covers a bunch of stuff in the meantime. I am so glad that I repicked up Ninth House. Like I said, I'm so glad I'm reading these books for this vlog. They give such great fall vibes that I totally forgot about. Like, the ghosts in here, the spookiness, the dark academia, college campus. Both of them have scenes occurring around Halloween in the fall, and has such great ambiance. And I'll get into it with Hellbent, but so much of the magic that is even more elaborated on in Hellbent is like even more fall-like. So it's just like the perfect vibe to read these books, and I've just been absolutely devouring them because they also have like great murder mysteries kind of built in that draw you along in the plot. That despite their length keep it feeling relatively fast-paced, especially in the second half, which I'm hoping for with Hellbent as well. And I wanted to give my first update on Hellbent, partially because it's been so long since I updated the vlog, even though I'm not halfway through. I'm currently 150 pages into Hellbent out of 500, and really, really loving it. Basically, Ninth House leaves off on a little bit of a cliffhanger, or like so much, like a little hint to what the plot of Hellbent is going to be. So I really, really enjoyed just jumping straight from Ninth House into Hellbent, continuing that story. And I really love that Leigh Bardugo did the same thing in Hellbent that she did with Ninth House, with a split like time period timeline. I think we've caught up in the past timeline, so I don't think there's going to be any more of the past timeline past like the 150 page mark. I might be wrong. Maybe we'll get another future timeline. I'm not sure, but at least to start off, we get two Alex timelines. One in the summer after her freshman year, after the events of Ninth House, and the other one in the fall of her sophomore year, a few months later. And they slowly meet up. The past meets up with the present. And it's all Alex, who is just a character that I forgot how much I loved in Ninth House, and I still love her. She's amazing. I'm having a good time with Hellbent. I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it picks up where Ninth House left off really, really well. I'm kind of hoping that Hellbent won't have as much of a cliffhanger. I have high hopes because so far the plot that needs to be resolved in this book is moving very, very fast. Like, I'm kind of concerned what's going to be happening in the next 300 pages of this book because we've covered so much ground already. But that does give me hope that then we won't be left in a cliffhanger, even though there's going to be that third book. Because I know that so many people assumed this was a duology, so I'm hoping that means that we do get some resolution at the end of Hellbent. We'll see, fingers crossed. So far, I will say with Hellbent, I'm enjoying a lot of things about it. I'm mostly enjoying the fall timeline story. Her summer timeline involves this plot line that I'm not obsessed with. Like, I just don't really care about that much, with this figure from Alex's past that is blackmailing her into doing certain stuff. And I don't care about that person in her past. I don't really care for that storyline. I kind of just want to get rid of him as soon as possible, but we'll see how that goes. But the current fall storyline I'm loving, so I'm really happy that we're hopefully not getting any more of that summer timeline and that we're just going to be in the fall sophomore year timeline. I can't really say much more about the plot of Hellbent specifically because it's all spoilers for Ninth House, but essentially a lot of shit from Ninth House has yet to be resolved, and now we're spending the second book resolving a lot of that. My feelings about Ninth House, despite loving it, are that it doesn't really stand on its own as a completed work because you don't really get answers to so many of the questions in Ninth House posed. So I'm really, really happy that we have Hellbent to answer those questions, and I'm hoping Hellbent will stand a little bit more on its own 2 feet so that I can give it 5 stars without feeling like it's incomplete or anything like that. But yeah, that is the reading update for these two. Not very far into Hellbent, but just wanted to update you on what I've been up to, on why it took me so long, is that I've been reading Ninth House all week. I also wanted to mention that I finished Rebecca last week. It's been a second now since I finished it. Loved my buddy read with Xenia. I had so much fun with this one. Honestly, fits the vibe of fall so much. I talk about this in my October wrap-up in more detail, so I won't go into a ton of detail about my reactions for this because this isn't a reading vlog for Rebecca, but I did want to mention it because the fall vibes were impeccable. And so I do recommend if you're going to pick up Rebecca that you pick it up in October, November. I don't know, it's maybe about like hitting that time change week when all of a sudden it gets dark at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. It kind of matches how this book makes you feel with like it gets darker early in the night, like the darkness is approaching, that kind of mystical, spooky feel. I feel like Rebecca gets so perfectly. So I really enjoyed that as well. And that is where the reading currently stands. I'm going to read some more of Hellbent. I still have so much, 350 pages to read, so it'll be a few days. So I might give you another update when we're a little bit further along.
Oh, are you posing? Oh, I see. Very nice.
Hi, welcome back. It hasn't been super long, and I think filming in this room was a success, so we're gonna keep doing that. But I wanted to give another update on Hellbent because I'm at the 310 page mark, so I only have like 150 pages left, and I knew that if I didn't film today, then tonight I might get super far and almost finish it, so I want to make sure I can give an update before that. That's why we're filming kind of like in the dark. It's always dark in Copenhagen because it's always overcast and the sun only comes out for 5 hours a day. Either way, Hellbent, I'm thrilled by. I'm really enjoying this. I wouldn't say that my reading slump is like magically disappeared. I just have a lot of other stuff going on that I frankly find more interesting than reading at the moment. I've been traveling a little bit. I've been doing activities in Copenhagen with my family that I've just really been enjoying. So honestly, it feels more like, oh, I have to make time to pick up my books or they're just not gonna be a priority. That's okay, that happens sometimes in life. But when I do make time for myself to sit down and pick up Hellbent, I have really been loving it. Where was I last time I updated you? I think it was the 150 page mark. I might even finish this tonight. We'll see. Maybe I'll give like an even darker, like late night update. I am so pulled in. Similar to Ninth House, in the second half, the plot speeds up super, super rapidly. So you get really like entranced and even more hooked to the storyline. In this one, there's a more clear-cut murder mystery than there even was in Ninth House. And I'm loving the murder mystery in this book. I like have no idea how it's gonna be solved. The main storyline that draws you in is still this storyline around Arlington and helping him and what's happening with Daniel Arlington. And I'm just really enjoying that, like, despite it being very drawn out and I want them to make progress soon, they have been making incremental steps and things have still been happening in that case, even though we're still in the same plot line that we were on, like, chapter 1 of Ninth House. It's still, like, making slow movement towards that, which I appreciate. I also appreciate how much more context we're getting on the side characters in this book. Trip, Turner, Dawes were all side characters in Ninth House who, while I enjoyed, I didn't really expect to get any more of because Ninth House felt very, very focused as a book on Arlington and Alex. And while we're still getting plenty of Arlington and Alex's personalities, the side characters are also getting so much more like feeling and emotion, and I care for them so much more than I did in Ninth House. And I feel like that is maybe what was missing in Ninth House also, is I felt kind of separate from the characters, and I feel like Hellbent is doing a good job of making me like very like entrenched in these characters and really, really care about them. It's great. I'm really loving it. And so honestly, I might just keep this at a short update because I kind of just want to sit back down and finish this. Oh, that reminded me, I did want to say one thing to add to the spooky vibes. This isn't really a spoiler, but it's kind of like about what magical creatures appear in the book, so you can skip forward 10 seconds if you want, but there is a vampire that appears in this book, like mention that vampires exist in this magic system. Was not expecting that at all. I think that's so cool. One of my favorite mystical magical creatures, and I'm really curious to see if we're gonna get any more of that in the next 150 pages, or if that's gonna be continuing on in the third book whenever that comes out. So much that I'm excited for. That like hooked me in. I was like sort of half sitting down reading it this morning, and then we got to that part and I was like, what? And then I read like 100 more pages in one sitting. So I'm having a good day of reading with Hellbent and I want to keep going with that. And then I guess when we finish this, then that's the end of the vlog. We might be done with fall activities. I've been having such a good week of fall activities, and we've been really trying to like get our tourist energy up and like go out and actually do things in Copenhagen. And we're like, no, we're gonna be tourists. Even though we've done these things before, it's okay, we're still gonna play tourists a little bit, and it's been really fun. So I hope if you ever plan to visit Copenhagen, you won't be scared off by the weather to come in October, November, because fall here has just been gorgeous. It's been so, so stunning. But let's cozy up and finish Hellbent.
We have about 100 pages left. We're at page 360 approximately, and we're on to part 2, and we're finally lining up with the first chapter of the book, which took place even further in the future than the other two perspectives. And now we're finally figuring out what happened after that first chapter. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put this down tonight. Like, I need to know what happened.
We finished Hellbent! Woo! I went to go grab the rest of the books from the video, but I literally could not put down Hellbent, so I figured, even though it's dark outside and the lighting is terrible, what better way to end a spooky fall reading vlog than filming in the dark? So it is nighttime outside, but I just had to talk about Hellbent right off finishing it because I thought this was so good. I absolutely devoured this. I'm obsessed with the magic system in the whole duology, but also all the expansions of the magic system we get in Hellbent. I'm obsessed with the characters. This book made me love them so much more, even more so than Ninth House did, and expanded my love to characters I did not think I was gonna love in Ninth House. And maybe it's just because I read pretty much all, like half of this book just today, but I just like, I couldn't put it down. I was obsessed. I like barely tabbed it compared to Ninth House, even though there were some great quotes, just because I know I wasn't in a tabbing mood. I was just like reading for the plot because I needed to know what would happen. So much happened. The pages were just absolutely filled, and yet we still have more questions, more things to go into the third book with. Yet I feel so much more satisfied with the ending of Hellbent. It's still too soon after finishing it to like confirm my rating, but I'm feeling really, really good about this. I'm so happy to have ended the vlog on this note. I also just think this is good dark academia. Like, maybe it's not really comparable when it comes to dark academia to books like If We Were Villains, what are the ones I've read, Babel, Blood Over Brighthaven. Those are much more straightforward, direct, and detailed in addressing not only economic disparities in academia, but also like racial disparities and like not just elitism, but also racism in these institutions. Ninth House and Hellbent don't go into it looking for that as much, but I do think the vibes are very, really great, and I do think it is mentioned. We do get a lot of perspective with the magic and the horrors that these characters are living through in these books. Like this comparison of what they're going through and what they're forced to go through to what all of their fellow classmates have, and how easy life feels for them and how unfair that is. And that like imbalance in just life experience, I think, is core to the novel. So in that way it is super rooted in dark academia, but it may not be like the super straightforward criticism that most people are used to getting from their dark academia. So there's a give and take there, but I think it nails it for me personally. I really, really enjoy where Leigh Bardugo takes it. This is a good way to end a book in a series compared to Ninth House, where I still have questions, I still have things that are driving me to pick up the third book, but I don't feel like the story was just like cut off. I feel like we resolved the story of this novel, got our answers, but we got a little bit in the last like 30 pages of this is going to be our next problem. Look forward to that in book 3, and I most certainly am looking forward to that. So what a good time in Hellbent. What a good time for this vlog. I really did need, after all of the activities I've been doing, I really just needed a cozy read at home day where I've just sat here all day reading Hellbent, and I'm so happy it was this book, and I'm so happy I enjoyed it as much as I did, because I did pay money and bought a physical copy, you know, and it always makes me sad when I don't enjoy my physical TBR books, because like, as a pricier investment. But with that, the reading vlog is over, the fall reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you also enjoyed all of the clips. I have no idea how it's gonna look when it's all assembled into one body. All the clips I've been taking over the past like 2 or 3 weeks. So much stuff has happened that like I can't even imagine what it's gonna look like when I'm trying to edit. Like, what order do I put everything in? But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. A quick summary, what did I read? I forgot I started this with Mate. Oh my goodness. I read Mate, Fangs, and Hellbent like on camera with you, and then I've mentioned that I also read Ninth House and Rebecca during the course of this vlog. Hellbent is up there with my favorites just because I just finished it. I think I liked Rebecca the most, but I didn't really talk about it with the vlog that much, so I think we have Hellbent, Fangs, and then Mate at the bottom was just a little bit of a disappointment for me, unfortunately. It was still a decent time, it just didn't give me quite the spooky vibes I was hoping for, especially compared to all the other 4 books in this stack here that aren't Mate. But Fangs, Rebecca, Ninth House, Hellbent, all of them had incredible fall vibes. I'm so happy with how the later books in the vlog turned out. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you have any recommendations that I should put on my list for next year. Is anyone else also so excited for the 3rd book coming out in the Alex Stern trilogy? Because now that I'm caught up, I'm ready for that 3rd book now. I can't imagine what it was like for people that read Hellbent in 2022 and have been waiting all this time for book 3. I feel for you, but I'm glad I'm not you. But with that, feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you want to, whatever you want to do. I love to chat in the comments as always if you have anything you want to share. But otherwise, I guess I'll see you whenever I have my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.